big exit updates and big target updates. Lots to get through with this video today, my friends, so I hope you guys enjoy the video. But very quickly, I'm proud to announce a project I've been working on for a minute right now. I finally released the first video yesterday, and my friends, I have kickstarted a new YouTube channel called Football Transfer News today. With this channel, I hope to talk about all the biggest stories happening outside of Chelsea, as well as news as well. It won't just be exclusively about transfers, so I hope you guys can show us some love. Subscribe to the channel, check out my first video. As you guys can see, got a few new visuals going on right here, because I need to maintain that quality for you guys. So check it out. I would really love that and really appreciate it. And obviously, my friends, if you guys still want to secure your home shirt for next season in time, this is the perfect opportunity, because we have the Club World Cup crest adorning it. So you'll find my links in the card above and description below. Hope you guys enjoy, and obviously don't forget to use Nini10 at checkout to get a full 10% off your final order. So we kickstart the first reports, and currently we know that Penders and Mamadou Sarr now are set to go to Strasbourg. We've been waiting for this for a long time. It's not really surprising news, but the confirmation, of course, is accepted. I think for Mike Penders, I'm really excited to see what he does under Liam Rosenior. Seeing how Rosenior took Petrovic's game to the next level, it's a shame that bigger and better clubs didn't see the same value in Petrovic in terms of the transfer value, because I think personally he could have gone to a better club than Bournemouth. But going to Bournemouth means that if you perform, you'll be going up another level in the not too distant future. So Mike Penders, really exciting loan news. For our top talents, it's looking quite clear that we will use Strasbourg as our umbrella club. They'll be very close to us. We can keep a watchful eye on these guys, and I think players that make moves to Strasbourg are probably more likely to make it in the first team squads or teams. So how do you guys feel about Mike Penders going to Strasbourg? Share your thoughts and opinions. And obviously the next big story being Mamadou Sarr has returned back to Strasbourg. Now, the moment we signed him all those months back, this was like one of the most inevitable things, in my opinion. I kind of wanted him to return back to Strasbourg for his development. Obviously, they have European football. He continues to work under Rosenior. I didn't necessarily feel like the Club World Cup was probably the best moment for him to really showcase what he's about, because I think we're in competition mode, which means that you maintain consistency and rhythm with the first team. You're not going to give out like cheap minutes to players that, you know, doesn't really benefit what the team are doing in the tournament, right? But I think at least Maresca has an eye on him. He sees what he's about. And I think for Sarr, playing week in, week out is the best possible thing for his development. Now, of course, there are some interesting takeaways which I'm not going to ignore. But I see it like this. When you have so many players under your disposal that you have to kind of sort out their futures, is there any surprise that a lot of times, right, there are going to be some casualties and consequences? I say this because with Sarr returning back to Strasbourg, he does take up one of those precious international loan spots, which could have been really beneficial for, let's say, a Chukwuemeka. I think Dortmund ideally wanted to keep him on loan for a season with an option to buy. But now, for Khans, we want straight money, straight exit. And that's the type of money that Dortmund may not have. And I kind of feel like if Khans remained at Dortmund, I think he'd be worth more than whatever money we're asking for right now, because he just needs consistent minutes, and staying in an environment that you're already familiar with is the best way to come back, in my opinion. He's a casualty. Another casualty, of course, is Ansel Mino. Ansel Mino was set to go to Strasbourg. Instead, now he'll be at the mercy of the best offers that we get for him. Now, it can go either way, right? You look at someone like an Andre Santos. Thank God Strasbourg was an option to save him in January, because Nottingham Forest gassed it, they wanted him, and they never played him, they never used him. And that is the risk behind giving your best, most precious talents just out in the wild, because you never fully know how a club is going to be receptive towards them, right? I think Anselmino is a big talent. Hopefully we get some good clubs in from maybe some La Liga clubs, Real Betis or something. I'm not too sure, but I don't know. It's a shame that the pressure spots are going, but the last spots at least will be going to Mike Penders and obviously Kendry Páez, who has spent much time under Rossini already. He's visited Strasbourg. He's got familiar with the environment. It was part of his plan. Maybe some of you guys might think, Nini, how come, Páez isn't just maybe remaining with the squads? I'm not too sure either, considering that we still need another attacking players. But I guess for his development, we feel like going to Strasbourg makes the most sense for him right now. And maybe he might be the next Andre Santos, where he remains there for the next 2 years at least. So yeah, let's see what happens. Obviously, in hindsight, why couldn't we have just done like a Kender with Sarr? And we'd have no issues and no stress right now, right? And I think our summer might be a little bit easier. But regardless, listen, 2 top talents are going to Strasbourg to play consistently. And that is the most important thing. So, my friends, let's now move on to discussing the latest updates surrounding Xavi Simons. Now, we have some reports now coming out from Plettenberg. Plettenberg is associated with Sky Sports, and as he reveals something that I've kind of been reporting on the last few days, courtesy of Cy Phillips. Shout out to Cy Phillips for giving me access to his Substack. But right now, yes, we have serious interest in Simons. I recommend you guys watch yesterday's video. I did say that we prioritize Simons now over Eze. As Plettenberg reveals, we understand talks between the club and the players' camp have started already. As we already know, Ali Barat, of course, is sourcing out Prem clubs for his star client. Xavi Simons wants to leave Leipzig. That is his prerogative. He ain't going to be remaining there. At the moment, though, there's no club-to-club talks yet. And I don't think we'll get there too soon. But at least we are keeping, but paying attention, we're monitoring the situation very closely surrounding Xavi Simons. As Plettenberg says, first, it needs to be checked whether an agreement can be reached between us and the player. Now, Simons is earning around like 110k a week at the moment. Makes a lot of sense. He's a Bundesliga star boy. I mean, 57 games, 18 goals, 20 assists. That is like Cole Palmer numbers in the Bundesliga. In that type of way, right? But as Plettenberg ends things, Chelsea are currently the most concrete option. We know that Simons has kind of revealed things already about Chelsea interest. And listen, for you Chelsea fans, yeah, he's already done that thing where he's followed players on socials. Caicedo, Santos, Liam Delap being the random one. I really wasn't expecting anything on that, but it kind of tells you exactly maybe how maybe there is something growing in terms of there being big potential around this move and a possibility for a deal, right? I'm really curious how you guys are feeling about this. Obviously, Romano gave us the confirmation around value, 70 mil euros. I think that's around like 58 million pounds. It's nothing too crazy at the moment. I told you guys yesterday that Leipzig would not mind Nkunku returning, but Nkunku's not feeling it at the moment, right? So let's see what happens there at the moment. But yeah, you guys, it's an interesting move. I got some thoughts and opinions though. I want to have this discussion. I'm curious to know like how you guys are feeling around things. So let's have this conversation now. And I guess for myself, yeah, it does kind of come down to the position Simons plays in for me. Listen, if I'm just like assessing him as a footballer, this guy's a baller. I think, of course, he should be at the highest level. He is that good. But for all the talks of Joao Pedro once being very similar to Felix and Nkunku, which really like surprised me and baffled me because he wasn't, this argument actually applies to Xavi Simons, who is more in that mold. Now, we've seen a few of these players not make it at Chelsea. We've seen how, both Nkunku, massive rep, marquee signing experience, Felix have struggled. I don't know what type of confidence I would get from Xavi Simons being the replacement to this type of player, right? He does his best work centrally. Yes, we have seen times, especially in the Club World Cup, and let's say Palmer in the first game played on the left-hand side. He had license to come inside, and Cucurella then pushed up. That's an interesting one to me. But then I feel like, okay, if you're going to be making moves like that, then you have to think about how you're going to fine-tune that balance. And let's say on one hand, Diego Moreira, could he be a possibility that we look to bring back? Considering he can play as that left back, he can play as an inverted option. He was doing that under Liam Rossignol, and it could be an easy move for us to go to get done, because at least he's a different profile to Cucurella, and that could support the long-term idea of having a Xavi Simons in your squad, right, who prefers to play inside, affecting the game, taking shots, running at the opposition, playing the strikers in behind. That's where he has his best influence. At the moment, I can only see him on the left-hand side, unless you're having Cucu playing this like advanced attacking role. But I don't know if that is necessarily the player I'm going for, because I just feel like if you want to like really future-proof the squads, future-proof any type of possibilities that you could face during the season, right? Injuries, blah, blah, blah. Let's say there was times where, you know, this new attacker has to play out wide. I want to ensure, yeah, that this guy has the explosiveness, the pace to be able to play down that side. I don't need like maybe a Sancho-esque type of player. And I wouldn't even call Simons like Sancho-esque. And I only meant Sancho because of the lack of pace, because he's coming inside all the time. But I just see him in a very similar capacity to Nkunku and Felix to do their best work there. Both players got tested in wide positions. Both didn't really find any success. And I just feel like maybe tactically it causes some headaches. On the other side, maybe he could be the best competition to Cole Palmer. Obviously, he can play on the right, he can play in other sides and positions, but it's not about the positions you're playing in, it's about the zones you find yourself taking up eventually, right? And I don't know, I just think that when you've got Enzo, Cole Palmer being the main guys in the middle, Andre Santos being the understudy to Enzo Fernandez, Esteval Willian, his agent, Andre Curry's been saying for time, you know, Esteval feels like he'll be that number 10. He'll play inside at times, right? They are going to rotate, of course. I don't know. I think Simons could prove me wrong, because on one hand, I can see how he could make sense. But on the other hand, man, I just kind of feel like that lack of proper athleticism, not that he's slow, but that explosiveness over distances out wide, because I feel like he'll find himself there more than he thinks. I'd rather go for that player who can do both, because that is better for the squad, in my opinion. But yeah, that's the conversation, you guys. Get involved in this one. How are you feeling about this Xavi Simons news? Because right now, my friends, I want to discuss the next interesting story. We're getting some really interesting insights now from Sky Sports surrounding a few players, and I want to have a conversation now around this story. So right now, you guys, we're learning from Sky Sports, finally, that there are some strong names as possible targets we turn towards. Now, close your eyes. The name Alejandro Garnacho is there. Let me try and just zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see what this article is saying. Morgan Rogers is another option. But the exciting one I'm looking at here is Kenan Yildiz. Now, I'm going to touch upon Yildiz in a second, right? Because we are learning some confirmation around the fee we would expect for Nico Jackson. And Sky Sports report, what's his name? Something Kaver, apologies for that, reveals that we want between 80 to 100 million for the player, right? Now, presumably, Ekitike's move to Liverpool is seen as the benchmark for Nico Jackson. That's interesting. Now, I see it two sides. One side is there's a lot of desperate clubs, United, Newcastle, Aston Villa, who probably need a player like Nico. And I think with the window coming to an end, I think we're kind of communicating premium primo premium now for Nico Jackson if you want this guy. Fair enough. Because if you wanted to have the other conversation, it's like, okay, if you rate this guy that highly, why did you sign Liam Delap? Because there could have been a future with both Nico and Joao Pedro, and you're saving 30 million, right? So listen, I get that's the game, right? That's how business is done. Very curious to see what gets done here. But maybe this little segment here reveals the future of another player, and that's Mark Yu, who I'm expecting gets a loan move in some capacity, right? Because we also see Pedro Neto as that third choice forward who can play in the middle in case anything happens, right? Which naturally makes the most sense. But now, let's talk about the main guy, Kenan Yildiz. Now, I want to just mention this point, you guys. I want to mention this point, but when this window first started, yeah, we was hearing all these things about how Chelsea would break the bank for the right player. I've covered that. All the YouTubers have. You guys have seen it yourselves in articles and socials, right? At the moment, though, we haven't necessarily seen any type of inclination to break the wage packet or really pursue that superstar. I think the only name I've consistently heard is Isak, but if that's the case, then why have you not tried to maybe engineer something realistically, right? I'm content with the business we've done. I think it's been a solid window that makes a bit more sense compared to other windows. But I think personally, because listen, I'm kind of fearful, you guys, of the competition levels next year. I'm looking at Liverpool, Arsenal, I'm looking at Man City. A lot of clubs are doing bits right now, and I feel like we need further separation to try and just safeguard the positions we're fighting for next season, right? And I personally feel like we do need like a premium talent. We need a premium talent to really just go toe-to-toe with the opposition we're up against now. For myself, the only player that I want to see this too would be Rodrigo, which I just accept won't happen. Even though I thought originally he was that star that was worth breaking the bank for. The other one is Kenan Yildiz. He's that guy for me, yeah. As I said in my last point on Xavi Simons, I want a guy that can do both. He's got the pace, he's got the explosiveness, he's got the finishing. You know, he could really just reduce a lot of tactical headaches for Enzo Maresca by being a very strong option from the left-hand side. Yeah, he's in that kind of Morgan Rogers-esque type of mode. He has the profile physically that I think complements this team. At the moment, Juventus are getting close to signing Jadon Sancho. They want to splash more, but I've always felt like if you come in with a serious offer, yeah, you could tempt a team like Juve due to the circumstances they're in financially at the moment. Is Yildiz not worth paying 70 for, 75 for? Like, who is worth that type of money? We didn't think Ekitike was, and in the end, the deal that Liverpool struck was like maybe like, what, 10 something million more than the 63 mil offer that we made for Ekitike before the club broke up. Fair enough. We got Joao Pedro, I'm not complaining. At either one of Pedro, Seshko, Ekitike, I was happy with. More than happy with Ekitike. But listen, I feel like we have to end the window properly right now. We'll get that left back calm. But I feel like let's get the proper wide attacking player that has the pace boost. No more 8/10s that, I don't know, I just haven't really seen work here these last few seasons. And I think Yildiz, man, he has the personality to play. The dribbling threat and skill. The guy is a superstar. Maverick. Juve fans calling this guy the next Del Piero. Doing a madness for him. Yeah? Let's come in big. Let's focus our attentions on him. I don't want it to be a case of we're just like talking to 5 options. We go for the best, most affordable one. Like, it works sometimes. Sometimes it shouldn't work. I think to myself sometimes, does this window always reflect the fact that we have secured CL football? I feel like moving for a Yildiz reflects the fact that yes, this is the power that we've earned financially from achieving these objectives. Flex those muscles properly now. I don't want it to be another situation of player training ourselves and just moving at a very snail-like pace, right? Because yeah, you sign Simons, he don't work out. Okay, out the door like Felix and the rest, right? For me, Yildiz is the guy. I'm hoping more concrete reports start to escalate right now for. So my friends, share your thoughts and opinions on the final attacking player that you would like to see. But in the meantime, let's end things very quickly with the final report as we discuss the future surrounding Renato Veiga. So very quickly, my friends, because these videos actually end up being a lot longer than I actually originally expect. I don't know why, which is a baffling thing. But anyway, Atletico Madrid have had a second offer for Veiga, presumably rejected at the moment. Now you're seeing on screen, we want around £35 million plus add-ons. Atleti have only offered around €35 million plus add-ons, which is around like £30 million. Now they've targeted Veiga because they've given up on their pursuit for Romero. Spurs ain't going to sell the guy calm. Veiga was their next best option, and he suits what they need defensively. Now, hopefully, things escalate and progress very soon, because we have learnt that Renato Veiga has said yes to Atletico Madrid. That's always going to be helpful, right? Direct talks are going to continue. Atleti want to wrap this deal up ASAP, which is good news for us. Hopefully that's money we can reinvest, because my friends, it's really simple. Renato Veiga out the door, Hato bids soon come. That's probably the next move I'd imagine we try to make soon. So I think, listen, Atletico Madrid, man, you can increase that offer by another €5 million. Maybe it comes down to just structure of the deal, how it's broken down. I mean, going back to Ekitike, Liverpool are going to be paying for him over 4 installments. You know what I mean? That's how this stuff works at this scale. So Veiga, this guy can't lose. We were like the best platform to kind of just create a market for him. All the most powerful clubs in Europe have been begging for this guy, and it seems like he's going to have a very big career under Simeone at Atletico Madrid. So my friends, that is everything from me today, man. Share your thoughts and opinions, and do not forget to subscribe to my new channel, FTN Today, to get all the latest transfer scoops, because I'll be releasing another video later tonight. So love, my friends. See you guys in a bit. Cool.